Over the past 18 months, I've coached nearly 100 of players. Everyone from Faceit level 4s to semi-pros. Most of them hovered around 2k elo, and across the board, I kept seeing the same mistakes. And not the obvious ones like you whiffed or bad crosshair placement. I'm talking about subtle, individual habits that quietly hold players back. In this video, I'll break down the most common ones I've seen and, more importantly, how to fix them. Let's get into it. One of the most common mistakes is that you probably don't know all the positions where you can meet an enemy, especially at the start of the round. And trust me, it puts you at an insane disadvantage because you never know when you can afford to use some utility and when you need to lock in and be ready for a fight. This sounds trivial at first, and if you're a 3k elo player watching this, you are probably about to close the video. But let me quiz you. If you're swinging top mid on Mirage, can you see a CT jumping down underground, given that both you and him had the best spawn? And if you rush B on Anubis, can CT be on the left side already without you spotting or hearing him? And what about pushing Apeks as CT on Inferno? Do you know exactly where you need to start walking so T in second mid won't hear you? These are suddenly not so clear, am I right? So knowing these small timing-based scenarios will make you a much more successful player and entry fragger, improving your map awareness and overall readiness for the right duels. But fixing just one weakness will not turn you into a star overnight. That's where today's sponsor, Litify, comes in. Most players want to improve but have no clue what to focus their efforts on. Litify takes data from all of your matches, whether it's Faceit or Premier, and uses data science to extract all of your weaknesses. Do you suck at trade fragging, utility usage, or anything else? Litify will find it. And it's basically like having a free coach available at any time, and let me tell you, players who use it are definitely going to run ahead of those who don't. And best of all, this is just one small part of Litify called Focus Areas. They also offer a 2D demo viewer, automatic highlight recording, practice servers, progress reports, and so much more. Also imagine this, most of these features are completely free. Litify also just makes playing more fun. It lets you compete with your friends, track your accomplishments for each match and session, and gives you automatic highlights for your best kills. So check out Litify using the link in the description, and now let's get back to the video. And mistake number 2 is connected to the first one. Spawn points matter on every single map. I see a lot of times people just blindly play their position without realizing what point where they spawned in, and therefore the timings and meeting points I mentioned are different. For example, if you're a cave player on Ancient and you spawn in these two spawns, you will have almost no chance to block lane push with utility, and you need to communicate this to your mid teammates that they need to be careful of heaven wrap. Worst of all, sometimes you can just scroll on the phone in freeze time, and when you run out of spawn, you just forgot where you spawned, and suddenly you question yourself. How should you play your spot to be safe? With good spawns, your options and opportunity to make a play is widened. With bad spawns, you need to adapt and play more reactive rather than proactive. This one is obvious, but I need to highlight it. The amount of nades I have seen thrown without a proper lineup and just trying to smoke things on the fly is basically self-sabotaging your game. These smokes are often missed, and with volumetric CS2 smokes, they spread in a funny way which can give the opponent either a gap to shoot through or, and this is more likely, a weird spread that gives room to play around the smoke. And another topic are instant smokes. I coached players at 3k elo that literally didn't know instant elbow smokes on Ancient, and they wondered why they couldn't play their position well. Instant smokes are most useful pieces of utility on pretty much every map, because these smokes are designed to deny early information and help you start with much greater map control than usual. Not knowing them and not willing to learn them is kind of troll in my opinion. I made a video about these instant smokes, so save it for later. But even after you learn some utility, it isn't really going to help you if you never understand the right situation when to use them. Which brings me to the next point. Most people simply throw them situationally, just according to vibes, but then that often leaves them with an inventory full of utility with 30 seconds remaining in the round. And then in a lot of situations, there's simply no time to throw a nade, and instead you are forced to fight. And if you lose that fight, there goes 1k of your money down the drain, just in form of unused utility. I'm not saying you should spam your grenades in the first 20 seconds of your round, but just allowing yourself to play around them instead of going for full commitment duels is going to do wonders to your improvements. And on CT, that might leave you with an extra utility for retakes, which again, in uncoordinated environment like Faceit, is always handy to finish off someone with an HE or simply go for smoke diffuses. This one is especially applying to T sides, and I noticed this a lot in pucks. Basically, players are going forward on their part of the map until they kill or they die. There is no faking, no rotating. People just play kind of stubborn way without thinking too much. And it kind of makes sense as there is a limited team play in pucks, but slowing down the pace and get in some late round scenarios gives you a new perspective on how to play the game. It is easier to fake and outmaneuver enemies, and when you eventually move up to play an actual team, this is where a lot of puck players struggle. They read the game well in early rounds, but as the round progresses, it becomes exponentially more difficult for them. Another classic, as old as time, being unaware of the economy or just be slightly off can turn an easy anti-eco round into a nightmare because you get rushed by a Tech9 train without you being ready for it. And usually the fix for this is simple. Even if you know that they have a bad buy, say it out loud or write it in the chat to make your teammates aware too. Remember that reading economy isn't just looking at the recent rounds and checking loss bonus, it is also taking into account the bomb plants and the amount of kills that enemy team is getting in previous rounds. And to take it to the pro level, remind yourself what were the guns that they killed you with. If SMGs, adjust your calculation to match it with kill reward of SMG, etc. Staying in the realm of money, let's talk about overbuying. Having a low buy round and you buying a deagle with Kevlar might make you still have AK with armor on the next round, but the lack of utility is going to hurt you a lot, especially in a higher elo. You simply just can't aim your way into winning a round, and even if you do, it's impossible to be consistent at it. Always make sure that at the next buy round you'll be able to afford nades, because those are having 10 times more impact than your solo deagle on an eco. This happens even in my 3.5k elo lobbies, by the way, so I think you will get what I mean. There is an absolute lack of understanding when to play on time and when to commit to trade or fight. And so many afterplans are thrown away by not knowing how to secure the round. It is unlikely that during 1v3 retake, City will win all 3 50-50 duels and defuse the bomb, but it's not impossible. You know what is impossible? Not giving him these duels at all and make him search for you and waste a lot of time so that bomb timer secures the round. Just be mindful about this. Not every round needs to be won by eliminating all of the enemies, and playing time to allow for rotation, especially as CT anchor, is crucial. This concept might be a bit advanced, but I will try to explain it as easy as possible, because once again this mistake ranges from new players all the way to even professionals sometimes, myself included. Players misjudge value of their own life. Not only that you die make enemy earn money, but you also lose probably thousands worth of your inventory that you need to rebuy. And in CS2 this mistake is even deadlier as the game is MR12, and when you climb ranks you will realize that counting every dollar makes the difference that can turn 11-13 loss into 13-11 win. During my coaching, I sometimes ask the player simple question: what do you think you did wrong in this situation? And like 80% of the time, the response was something along the lines of, I overflicked, I missed an easy duel, or my aim was shaky. It was always excuse that circled back to aiming. And sometimes they were right and a simple whiff incident happened, but a lot of times you could take away much more, especially when it comes to your positioning, your strafe, or your timing. It feels like blaming your aim is an easy way out that can always be found, but never fixed. It is humanly impossible to never whiff, but you can minimize those moments by having good fundamentals. Perfection is a lot of little things done right. Last thing that makes me frustrated whenever I ask a player why they did something is the answer, I don't know. When you stop thinking in game, you also stop making decisions, and without doing decisions, whether good or bad, your progress and improvement is frozen. Think and adapt. Even if you're in a bad spot, there is a way to maximize your chances to win. Actively thinking makes you find these chances more often. If you're stuck with MP9, you obviously won't play Ticket or Mirage to force long-range duels. This is also so easy to spot when I see people pre-aiming and clearing angles. I see that the crosshair placement is good, player strafes well, but I can tell that they are not actually expecting anyone to be in that position they are clearing. They only do it because they taught themselves to do it by playing pre-fire maps or by experience from the past. If you're able to force your brain to expect enemy in each position you are clearing, you will be winning much more tools. If you're serious about improvement and watching this video until the end suggests me that you are, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I understand that all tips mentioned in this video might be a bit advanced or niche, so if you're new to the game, probably your biggest focus area should be your aim. In that case, check out the video where I cover most common aiming mistakes and show you tools how to fix them. And I will see you there, and in the meantime, bye-bye. Huge shout out to my coffee members for your continual support so I can make more videos like this for you. Their name is on the screen right now, and if you want to appear here too, check out my coffee page where you can gain tons of cool and exclusive perks at various tiers of membership. And when I say they're cool, I mean it. Give it a look, it's worth it. Thank you for making my content better and possible.